everyone, welcome back to the BVTV channel, and today we're going to be going into Dead by Daylight's Feng Min lore story, because it's a lore story I've wanted to do for a long time. And last week we just finished the Descent Beyond chapter with the Blight, and then before that we did Felix Richter, so let's get straight into Feng Min's lore. Feng Min was a young girl when she first picked up computer games, and she was instantly hooked. Her parents saw no wrong with a few minutes in front of the screen, but as the minutes turned to hours and sometimes days, they finally decided to pull the plug and force Feng Min to put more efforts into her studies. To be honest, I think we've honestly all been there to where our parents like, alright, no more game time. You need to actually do something else. I remember when I was a kid, I believe I definitely had that problem. Like the moment my dad put me in front of video games, I never wanted to leave the thing. So yeah, that was always like kind of like a constant battle. Like I always wanted to play video games 24/7 when I was first introduced. My first ever video game was actually Raw 2, the wrestling game, to where you could like beat people up backstage and start like the gossip and stuff. But it was you could do everything in that game. And it was a great game for like a 4-year-old me to play. So yeah, that was fun. But anyway, continuing on with the story. She felt smothered by her parents, so she left home and spent her time in internet cafes and LAN parties where the old rules didn't apply. She spent hours playing, streaming, and competing to rise to the top. In the gaming world, she finally found respect. Nicknamed the Shining Lion, she was invited to join a prestigious esports team where she found a sanctuary free of the misconceptions and prejudice she had felt from her parents in the non-gaming world. You know, I can kind of relate to that. You know, when it comes to things like that, you know, gaming, obviously a lot of people are going to look down towards gamers because they think it's like, oh, they're no lives, they live the mom's basement. I've literally heard all those go on, yada yada, the list goes on. And the coolest thing about that is I don't think people understand the exploration that gaming gives you. And with that, there's literally an unlimited potential. I think it's very therapeutic. I think it's very healthy. I think it could be a good thing. And many people don't really see that when it comes to gaming. And you know, for me, I use gaming as a lot of people. Yeah, gaming can even be for fun. Like for me, I think it's very therapeutic. Like, and I say that because it is more of a thing to where it's a stress reliever. Like when I come from a crazy day, whether it's school, college, whether it's my job, the list goes on and on. It could be very therapeutic, and it's such a great stress reliever that when I get on this game, or when I get on video gaming in general, and when I do my YouTube, and that's what I really did this YouTube channel for too, was to you know, you guys, and doing this for you guys is my stress reliever. This is my fun. This is my happiness, so to speak. And so I can understand that from Feng Min's perspective. Like, this is something to where if you aren't a gamer, you just simply won't understand it. And you know, and you could make a living off of this too for some people. Some people really do. And so I get Feng Min here. I can sympathize with Feng Min. I understand it. But anyway, let's go on to the story. Feng Min pushed her limits to prove she was the best. Sleep was less important to her than training. She pushed herself too far, slept too little, and her performance began to slip. She started to lose. At night, she would stay up, tormented by the thought of disappointing her parents and her fans. She spiraled out of control and fell into a pattern of self-destruction. She started wandering the streets and visiting bars, waking up in places she didn't remember. One day, she woke up somewhere completely different. So obviously, we know what happened here. She was, you know, the parties and everything like that. And, well, not the parties, but the bars. And then, you know, the entity, she probably went to the woods somehow, didn't realize it, and then just whooshed. The entity in the fog swept her up, picked her up, and took her to the entity's realm. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. But what I want to say here, too, and the reason why I wanted to do her story, because hers is more relatable, and it's the most realistic one I think we have here. And what I want to talk about is pressure. Pressure, sleep, and rest. And it's funny, I just mentioned something, I think it was in the Felix Richter story, or the Blight's lore, that I mentioned, you know, my how I do it all the time. And everyone knows I don't really get sleep like that. I'm a workaholic. Like, I like to do things, I like to be proactive, I like to do something. It just makes time go by. It feels very rewarding. Sleep is kind of overrated to me in some aspects. But in this case, when you're trying to become the best, and you are, you know, the best. There's only so far you can push your limits. When you push your limits, you do it gradually, slowly, little by little, so to speak, right? You don't just put it and put your, like, let's put it this way. If you're driving and you're trying to be the fastest racer and you're trying to be smart, that way you don't hit another car, because there's going to be cars probably in front of you. You can turn around. You're not just going to keep your gas pedal. You're not going to slam your gas pedal and just go 1,000 miles an hour. So, because eventually, if you're just sitting there going 1,000 miles per hour, you're not going to be able to turn. You're going to spiral out. You're going to then just crash. And that's exactly what happened to Feng Min. She spiraled out, crashed, and went out of control. She pushed herself too far and she slept too little. And then her performance began to suck. And she put too much pressure on herself, trying to disappoint her family and not trying to disappoint her fans. Here's the one thing I can say to that: if you feel the only pressure that you should have is the expectations you set for yourself. If you cannot meet the expectations you set for yourself, that's a you thing. But not because of, if people aren't happy with what you're doing and you're not doing anything wrong, that's their problem, and I think Feng Min allowed just the fame and the pressure that goes with that to really get to her, and I feel that's really what derailed her here. And it's sad because she had potential, as the story states, but it also shows that she is a survivor at the end of the day. She does what she's got to do. But that's really all I really had to say about that. The entity was just a smart person who kind of waited out and then just kind of took her when she woke up in probably the woods somewhere, or near a lake, or near the bar, or in someone's home. You never know, honestly. But the entity is a smart and conniving little demon. I'm calling the entity now a demon. That's really what I feel like it is, as we've learned from the last couple lores we have done throughout the months. But ultimately, folks, that's really all I had here. So with that being said, if you have enjoyed this video, leave a comment if you like the video, hit that sub button, and subscribe to BVTV. With that being said, everybody, stay off the hook.